I know that the words search engine optimization are not super exciting to most writers. However, I'm really excited to share with you today how a very small tweak, and I'm talking a 5-minute tweak at most, can help you get your Medium stories in front of more readers who are trying to find information through Google or other search engines. The first thing you need to know is that when you publish a story like this one that I'm going to show you how to optimize in a minute, when you publish it on Medium, it lives on your profile. If you publish it in a publication, it also lives in that publication. If you publish it using topics like cooking, recipes, it's also going to live on those topic pages. So for example, .com/. On this topic page, it'll be shown to your followers. If they've signed up for email subscriptions, if they've signed up for email notifications, they'll get the email, they'll get the notification, and it'll also be shown to readers who don't even follow you just through the recommendation system. On top of all that, people who are not already in the Medium ecosystem might still see your story through Google. For example, when I Google Garmin versus Apple Watch, the very first story that comes up at the moment is this story from Pete Matheson. The same is also true of the no-touch law, which is a law that just passed in Pennsylvania. This story is ranking for it on Google. People who are not Medium readers, Medium members, might still land on this story on Medium, on your Medium story, just because they're Googling something and it happens to crop up. Medium has a very strong domain authority. That means Google trusts Medium. We're a website that's been around for a long time. Google thinks we're high quality. So stories are going to surface on Google even without you necessarily having to do anything to optimize. The little tweak I'm about to show you is going to make it a little bit more likely to show up in front of those Google searchers. So here is the trick. You go to your more settings here. You go to SEO settings and you modify the SEO title and the SEO description. So the SEO title is the title that shows up on Google, and the SEO description is the little preview that shows up just below the title. By default, whatever your title is and whatever the first, 197 characters of your story will be the title and the description respectively, but you can edit these, because these are what Google will use to try to surface your story to relevant readers, among a ton of other things, but these factors are really important. In the case of my story here, the keyword that I might be aiming for could be kale and ginger soup recipe. So I might type something like and I would want to include kale and ginger soup recipe as the keyword in my meta description as well. Now, the important thing to remember is that when the story goes live, these will not be the title or the description on Medium. Those will still be the default preview the default preview that you saw originally before we modified the SEO versions. And I recommend keeping it that way because the readers on Medium are going to be interested in and clicking on different things than somebody searching something on Google. So for example, on Medium, you might want to really highlight your expertise because you've made 10,000 kale and ginger soups. You know all there is to know about kale and ginger soup recipes. That's why Medium readers should trust you. Whereas a Google searcher, they might not really care about that. They just want the easiest, the best one. They want to click on something that's just going to deliver a recipe. The 10,000, this extra window dressing is not going to be that important or relevant to them. To decide on your keyword or key phrase, think about the ideal person to find this article, what are they searching for on Google? They might want best kale and ginger soup recipe. They might want easiest kale and ginger soup recipe. They might want healthy kale and ginger soup recipe. What I recommend you doing is taking the target keyword that you think you want to start with, plugging it into Google and just seeing what comes up. So here I'm seeing a lot of those top search results mention healthy, they mention turmeric, garlic is cropping up, so assuming, of course, that your recipe is healthy and has turmeric and garlic, you might want to include those in your SEO description just to help Google understand, oh, okay, the people who are likely to be interested in the kale and ginger soup recipe, they're going to want to see this too. And that's how you do it. A few things to keep in mind. If you want to really optimize your stories for search engines, you can go a lot deeper. I'm not going to cover all that in this video or probably any future videos because Medium does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. The Garmin versus Apple Watch story, this is not super optimized for SEO. You can see that he doesn't even mention that particular search term in his first few paragraphs. It's the same with the no touch story. This is not a super optimized story. These are ranking because Medium has a very strong domain authority. We've done a ton of heavy lifting on the back end to try to get Google to rank relevant stories to relevant readers more easily. So this is just a little tweak to help a little bit. Most of the work has already been done for you in terms of Google discoverability. The second thing you need to keep in mind is that a lot of people who search on Google are not Medium members. So if you choose to paywall this story, just remember that when a non-Medium member lands on this story, they're not going to be able to read the whole thing. They'll get to our paywall because the writer, you have chosen to paywall your story. Just something to keep in mind about your target reader and how you're reaching them. Okay. The short and sweet version of how to help Medium optimize your stories for search engines and help them show up to more readers who are using sites like Google, Bing. Is Ask Jeeves still around? No, it's been a while. Google or Bing probably, to land on your Medium story and get to read your great kale and ginger soup recipe or whatever it is that you're writing about. Thanks for watching this, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video.